All right. Welcome. Hey, you guys are already in here. That's awesome. So it's 2000 hours on the nose. So we'll just let some people in. Guys, I posted a poll. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you guys could answer, it'd be great. It's really relevant to what we're talking about today. So I'd love to get your feedback on it. So welcome, Eric, Gabe, Dave, Martin. Welcome aboard, guys. If you guys can hear me, this is really important. Drop me like a thumbs up emoji on Zoom, or yeah, okay, awesome. Thanks, Eric, Gabe, Dave, Kat. So seems like we're good. Martin, it's okay. Maybe you can't figure out the button. That's all right, man. It's all right. I got 3 out of 4 there hearing me, so that's awesome. So guys, welcome. If you guys are tuning in on Facebook, if you guys want to be able to comment and participate in the Ask Me Anything afterwards, got to hop in on the Zoom feed. All right. So the link is in the Facebook group. It's pinned to the top. Go to the Zoom feed there and click on it, and then you can hop in the Zoom room. It's okay if you're watching on Facebook. It's all in the same group here. But I would just want to make sure that those are actually in here in the Zoom call get a little extra bonus for being extra keen. So guys, welcome to everybody that's tuning in. Really appreciate you guys coming here and spending the next 45 minutes or so listening to what I have to say about veteran men losing belly fat and reducing chronic pain, becoming family role models in 5 straightforward steps. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave Morrow. I'm the creator of this Facebook group, but additionally, I'm the creator of the Hard to Kill training programs and of Dave Morrow PT. So the way this is going to shake out, I'm going to go through what I have to say, and I'm going to leave some time for questions as well, just like a good NCO would. And then at the very end, you're also going to have a chance to ask me some questions as well. And just so you know, I am not going to sell you anything at the end of this. All right. So you can kick back, relax, grab a drink. I have my water here, and let's go for a ride. All right. So let me just move my little bar here out of the way. Okay. So for you guys, what if I could tell you you could lose belly fat, gain energy, and still have steaks, pizzas, and beers? Likely you would claim witchcraft. Well, I'm here to tell you this is not witchcraft. This is being done by myself and plenty of others. So some disclaimers for this presentation. Learning how to eat and train takes time to master. I want to make that perfectly clear. Everything takes time. You may be in a state right now where you're overweight, you're out of shape, you feel like shit. How long did it take you to get there? Years? Decades? Okay, put that in context. How fast do you think you're going to get to your peak state? It may take a little longer than a few weeks. So you need to break deeply established habits. That's a really important aspect of what we're going to do today. And additionally, get somebody on. Sorry, guys. Just I'll mute your mics, please. I got some feedback here. There we go. We got it. You will not lose 20 pounds overnight. All right. So that's a given. And by committing to the process, you will lose weight and improve your feelings of well-being faster than relying on the same old habits. All right. So let's get into it. This training is for you if you're overweight, you've got injuries that slow you down, you're frustrated with not being fit anymore, and you've got responsibilities that require to always bring you the A game, whether that's family, whether that's work. Okay. There's all kinds of things that require you to be in a peak state. This training is for you if that's the case. Whether you need to be all of these or just one of them, you're in the right spot. So what I'm going to go over today is how to build your beast body by using my 5-step T-Max protocol. BEAST, notice it's an acronym. It stands for B, always stimulating testosterone. Clever, eh? So what I have here is online training, a description of some really tasty steak, which is going to be relevant in a second, and then somebody having a nice little nap, all going to be relevant and pertinent in the next few minutes. So my goal for this webinar is pretty straightforward. I'm going to give you my 5-step method to get you losing body fat and feeling awesome again. I'm going to show you how weight loss really works and convince you at the very end to change your weight loss paradigm away from calories in, calories out. Now, bigger picture for me is I got into this space, personal training, but specifically in the veteran space, because I saw within myself a need to be better. I needed to be healthy in order to be able to be more active in my community, be a voice for the community. And in order to do so, I had to be healthy. Now, I've seen a big opportunity here because there's a lot of us that are not in good shape, but we have a lot to share, and we can't do it unless we're healthy. So I'm really, really hammering down on this paradigm so that we can get leaner and healthier. And at the end of the day, I have a really bold and audacious goal, which is 2 million pounds lost in the veteran community, with over 100,000 veterans worldwide helped to lose weight. It's a big goal, 10 years I'm giving myself, and I hope you can get on board and be part of that weight loss challenge. More to follow on that. So who am I? Well, I'm Dave Morrow. As you probably figured out by now, I'm a nutrition and fitness coach that helps veterans lose weight and improve their health, and anybody in the sheepdog community for that matter. I was a member of the Canadian Armed Forces for 15 years, and I graduated from McGill University here in Montreal with a BSc, a B.Ed, and an MA. My goal was to be a high school teacher for life once I left the military. How things have changed. Also, my company was awarded the most motivational company in Canada by the Fitness and Nutrition Awards last year. I'm also the creator of the Hard to Kill podcast. You may have listened to a few episodes. Also, Dave Morrow PT created the first of its kind in Canada, an online training program for women that are veterans of the Canadian Armed Forces. That's currently going on right now. That is fully funded by Veterans Affairs. Additionally, I'm the author of Nimble Warrior and completed an Ironman last year. Now, where do I come from? How did I get to where I am talking to you right now on a webinar? Well, here's me when I was cool. And Mike, you know where this is. This is in Balande in Afghanistan, back from a patrol, happy as a pig in shit. And I thought this was going to be it. I thought this is really going to be what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I thought that post-tour, I was going to make a go of it and become a Reg Force soldier, and God knows where I would have ended up, but I would have pursued this career. But turns out that's not what happened. No, what happened was I got injured, not too severely. I threw out my back, my knee got all mangled up while on tour, and it caused some issues. I couldn't really do my job as an infantry soldier. I was in constant pain. I had to take a lot of medication. I really didn't like it. I was stuffing my face with the standard American diet. I was getting kind of chubby. Just wasn't in a good place. And so I fell back on my teaching career, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. And so what started to happen was basically a downward spiral of shit, as I like to call it. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I was filling in the gaps with eating, drinking, partying, having a good time, not really focused on anything other than showing up to work and hanging out with my girlfriend at the time. The problem was I was neglecting my injuries, and they progressively got worse and worse and worse. And being a good infantry NCO, I just said, I'll suck it up, and pain is just weakness leaving the body. So what I did once I realized, man, this isn't really working out. I'm constantly getting fatter. I'm constantly in pain. My back is not getting any better. I came up with the bright idea that what if I just do a lot of CrossFit? That'll probably work, right? So the plan was I'm just going to AMRAP myself to death. And for you, those of you that don't know what an AMRAP is, it's as many rounds as possible. And that is a very classic CrossFit thing to do, is you just do as many as hard as possible. And I was going to do that over and over and over again until I got lean and fit. That was the plan. However, that clearly wasn't the result, as you can tell by the picture on the left. If anybody wants to avert their eyes, please do. It's okay. You can point and laugh. So then, once I realized that, what's that?
Nice package, Dave.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. You just made me lose my spot. So what I decided, once I really got too banged up, I got way too into the pain cave. I was at the point where I was stuck in bed a lot. My back was just a disaster. I just had a kid. I wasn't doing well, to say the least. I decided to start working with my own coach. I said, you know what? I got to swallow my pride and I got to figure this out. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing, even though I think I do. So stuff that ego in a sack, put it away, and start learning. So I had to teach myself a lot about nutrition. I had to teach myself a lot about movement and recovery and how to actually lose weight and feel great again. This was the journey that I was ready to undertake, and I was open to any suggestions and anything that was out there that could help me out. So long story short, I started crushing all my goals. So here I am on the very left side of this slide, finishing the Ironman. I finished this last year on August 28th. And this is me coming across the finish line. It doesn't look glamorous because it wasn't. Because of COVID, my event got canceled. So I ran it around my house with my trusty CSM being my wife and a few other really notable volunteers that decided to come out with me on my swim, on my bike, and on my run. And this was a goal that I set out for myself while I was in Afghanistan in 2010. And I said I'd do it before I was 40, and I did. In the middle here, I completed the Spartan Beast with two of my bros, which was a total bag drive, but we got it done. And it was one of those bucket list things that I wanted to get done. And then on the far right is just a picture from me competing at one of the 3 CrossFit Opens that I competed in. Didn't do amazing, but I was able to compete and do all of the RX WODs, which was really, really good for me. And will I do it again? Likely, once I decide to get my ass in gear again and do some more CrossFit. Not to say that CrossFit's bad, from what I said earlier. I do like it. It's just only doing it was not the right approach for me. Okay, so what I developed from here was a health and physical training system that drives consistent results. So rather than constantly be disappointed, I was able to build something that actually worked. So I'm now able to train, eat, and enjoy life on my own terms, which has always been the goal. And I'm sure it's probably yours as well. So I don't want to have to worry about, my weight always fluctuating and putting on, an extra like 8 pounds during the holidays and then worrying, well, how the hell am I going to get this off? And also, how am I going to take care of my back issues, my knee issues? Is this going to be chronic and I'm always going to be in pain? And due to those physical limitations, am I not going to be able to, run with my kids, play with my kids, and eventually run and play with my grandkids? These are all things that are playing through my mind. And now that I have a system, I know that I can mitigate these problems and thrive. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get lean and reduce chronic pain in the next 45 minutes or so. I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring it in under 40. So here's the 5 steps to losing weight and feeling great, according to Dave Morrow. All right, so I like using things that are super simple because I'm an ex-infantry NCO. So keep it simple, stupid is my mantra. And so we're going to do the 5 R's. So in this case, we have remove, replace, realign, rebuild, and restore. So let's go through each one of them as to how they pertain to losing weight and how it pertains to my T-Max protocol. So step 1 is remove. So we need to remove 3 main foods. So if you guys are taking notes, this is the time. Okay, take these notes down, like scribble them down, put them on your notepad, wherever, get them down, because this is This is like pure money, like put it in the bank. This is an investment for you that you can use later. So 3 foods that are destroying your health. So you're likely a slave to these foods and have no idea, either one or all of them. All right. The main one I'm going to talk about here is sugar, but the other 2 are all important as well. So sugar, Alice is being a bad girl. So sugar is an endocrine disruptor, meaning it screws up your hormones. It's also a known carcinogen in large quantities. It's known to accelerate the formation of diabetes, Alzheimer's, obesity, and metabolic disease. It is a bad thing to be putting in your body. In small quantities, okay, cool. It's a refined delicacy. Don't forget, the West only really had access to sugar since the Victorian era. Never really had this refined, delicious powder that you could sprinkle on things and make it magically delicious. So our bodies haven't adapted to sugar in its refined state. Yeah, sure, in fruit, absolutely. But we're talking about sucrose here, which is sugar that you have on the table. We're not used to it, and all the derivations thereof wreak havoc on our metabolism. And likely you're addicted to it. And that's totally normal because most people are, because it's delicious and it gives you a massive dopamine rush every time you consume it. So the question is, why consume it at all? We do not need carbohydrates in our diet, full stop. There are no essential carbohydrates, full stop. Our body synthesizes glucose readily in the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle, whatever you want to call it, whether you consume carbohydrates or not. So sugar on its own, not a necessary component for good health. You may not have heard of these, but you definitely know what they are. PUFAs, so saturated oils, polyunsaturated fatty acids, sorry. And more specifically, I'm talking about seed oils, because there are polyunsaturates that are perfectly fine, that are natural. You get them in avocados, you can find it in meat. But what I'm talking about are the processed oils that come from industrial production. So therefore, we're talking about canola oil, rapeseed oil, vegetable oil, any oil that comes from a seed, no bueno. They're very pro-inflammatory, meaning they flare your immune system to go crazy because it's something that is not naturally consumed in nature. It's industrially produced. It is definitely a carcinogen. It's known to accelerate the formation of insulin resistance. So it spikes your insulin when you consume it. It contributes to obesity, contributes to metabolic disease, and it stimulates more hunger. And these oils are found in literally everything that you find in the grocery store. Try to find something that's in a box that doesn't have these oils in it, and you'd be hard pressed. So ask yourself, why even consume these at all? That's another important question that you need to tackle, but definitely something you need to take out of your diet as much as possible. And then lastly, alcohol. Yeah, this is actually, Mike, you were here for this. I think you even took this picture.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did take that picture, but I was no better not even a better situation than you were.
So this is me at our baby shower for my son, and I had a few, needless to say. But alcohol, it's delicious, but it also is a neurotoxin. It contributes to insulin resistance as well, obesity, metabolic disease, halting fat loss, which is really important to remember because we're trying to lose fat, and unwanted pregnancies. Hope nobody's in that boat, but as we all know, we're in our 20s. Things can happen. So why consume it at all, right? I mean, as a drink at the end of the week, or maybe something to enjoy with friends, sure. But in regular, consistent consumption, where we look at average daily or average weekly consumption rates are, I believe, at 8 to 10 drinks a week. That seems excessively high. However, we don't think twice when it comes to consuming alcohol because it's part of our culture. So ask yourself, if you really want to lose weight, is it something that you want to consume in quantity, in volume? Likely not, and something that you should probably get out of your diet. So this is a quote that I grabbed from nature.com, but I wanted to pull out, you can read it on your own time. The gist of it is that chronic inflammation contributes to about 50% of all disease. Okay, so It's one of the most significant causes of death, okay, across the planet. So if you can control inflammation, you can essentially control your long-term health and reduce your all-cause mortality. So like it says here, we have heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. These are all things that are related to chronic inflammation. Bring down the inflammation, bring down your chances of dying from any one of these terrible diseases. So step 2 is replace. And what I like to call how to eat like a grown-up. So you're likely not eating enough protein, or as I like to call it, your protein. You need to get a lot. Right? Then there's fat and also salt. You guys are probably thinking like, oh my God, he said salt, a forbidden word. So protein. Protein, we have essential amino acids in protein. When you eat it, it gets broken down and says essential amino acids. These amino acids are the building blocks of life. For every cell in your body, you need protein. For the cell walls, for all the mechanisms that work inside the cell, you need protein. So therefore, cellular function, it is critical. Don't get enough protein, you don't have the right amino acids, you die. You need protein. So how much do you need? Well, a man needs at a bare minimum 120 grams of protein a day. And, you know, I'm saying doesn't matter stature, you know, at this point, 120 is your bare minimum. Now, if you look at recommended daily values from the government, they'll say something like 40 to 50 grams. I'm saying that is way off, especially if you're trying to lose weight. The thing about protein is that it drives up your thermogenic effect. So it increases metabolism, makes you hotter. So it speeds things up. Well, if you're eating meat and you're increasing your metabolism, that's a good thing, but it also increases satiety. It makes you feel full. So after you eat it, you're not likely to go to the fridge and start grabbing some random crap, you know, some sugary crap or some crackers. You're full, you're good. And if you're training more than the average human being, which is not that hard, and are large, like myself, I'm 6 feet and over 220 pounds, you need more, especially if you want to build and get stronger. So you need quite a bit more, actually. So what I'm going to give you guys as a takeaway is that you need 6 palms protein per day, bare minimum. So take your palm, right? You measure roughly how much that is without breaking out a scale. About 1.5 inches thick is your standard portion size. It's not that big. 2 of those is what you should be having at every meal. So if you're having 3 meals a day, that's 6 full palms of protein. And that'll get you roughly to your 120 grams. And that's at a bare minimum. If you're not doing that, start tomorrow. Get your 6 palms in. Next is fat. Fat is super, super, super neglected because we've been told for 50 years, fat is going to clog up your arteries and your heart's going to explode. So don't eat it. So what do? You go, well, okay, I can't really eat meat because it's got fat in it and cholesterol, and I can't eat butter and cheese because it's got, okay, I guess I'll just eat carbohydrates and crackers and that'll fill the gap. How's that working out for everybody? Not so good. Fat is crucial as well. It gets broken down into fatty acids. Fatty acids are essential as well for life. Cellular function, cholesterol, which is bound with fat, is required for hormone production. Your brain is basically all fat. It needs cholesterol desperately in order to function. All the cells, everything need cholesterol and fat. So how much do you need? Man needs about 3 tablespoons of oil, 3 tablespoons of oil a day. So if you're using olive oil, it's actually not that much. Or you can use your thumb. So if you're using just like solid fat, so avocado, nuts, you can just use your thumb as a way to measure, and that'll give you your rough estimate for fat for every meal. So you need 2 thumbs of fat for every meal. So just like protein, you need 6 thumbs of fat every day, bare minimum. And the great thing about fat is that the more you eat, it's got so many more calories and so filling that you can hit your caloric goal really easy by consuming enough fat. But again, the caveat here is eat some good fat. So put the canola oil aside, put the Crisco aside, have things like butter, cheese, avocados. These are the things, nuts. These are the things that come from nature that are much more easily digested and are much better for you overall than having something that's industrially produced. All right, lastly, salt. All right, this is a controversial one. Everybody that I know, especially me growing up, was told, don't eat salt. It's going to kill you because you're going to have a heart attack because it's going to drive up your blood pressure. Although acutely that is true, long term, your body has a really good homeostatic response to having an increase in salt or a difference in water concentration in your blood. You'll pee it out or you'll hold on to it. So salt or minerals are critical for cellular function. It allows the actual cells to communicate. You cannot flex your arms or blink, speak without action potentials happening between cells. So your nerves need to conduct those action potentials. They work on a sodium potassium gradient in order to fire. You go low in any one of those two minerals, guess what? You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel worn out because your body's just saying, well, I don't have the component parts in order to do the work. So therefore, let's bring everything down and dial it down. Muscle contraction, calcium is important for that. Okay. These are all things that we neglect to consider when reducing things like salt. Now, table salt is sodium chloride. One thing we don't consume a lot of is potassium. Typically, we need about 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's actually not an issue. Most people actually consume way more than that because their diets consist of a lot of salty crap from the grocery store that's in a box. What we tend to neglect is potassium. Now, everybody says, oh, just have a few more bananas. I don't know how bananas became like the potassium go-to food. I don't know if there's a banana lobby out there, but bananas are not very high in potassium. You're going to have potassium. Go find something like an avocado. Go find something like pistachio nuts. Go find something like something leafy and green. You can use spinach, for example. Like these things are higher in potassium than any banana, but you may need to supplement. So typically I add a little bit of potassium salt, which is potassium chloride. You can get it at the grocery store, to my food. And I add some to my water every morning because I've tested my pee thanks to Ranjan, who's in the group, who's an analytical chemist, and my potassium levels are always really low for whatever reason. So I always bump it up, and I felt great ever since doing that. So basically, you need to look at salt as crucial and not evil moving forward. So from the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging, now one caveat about this quote is the funders of this study was Abbott Pharmaceuticals. They make protein supplement drinks, but nevertheless, I still like it and it's still relevant. So shortcutting protein is hurting your diet. Point final. Adults who aren't getting enough protein had overall poor quality diets. And I think the reason they didn't explain it is because you don't feel full. So if you don't feel full, you're not getting the nutrients that you need. And additionally, protein, and especially meat. So if you look at red meat, is a complete food. You have protein, fat, and you have basically all the minerals and most of the vitamins there that are required for life. So if you have one food that you're going to eat, in my opinion, have a nice piece of meat and you'll get all of those things. You won't be lacking in minerals like choline, vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. Number 3 is realign. Take the pain in the ass. Okay. So literally, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So almost 8 million Canadians suffer from chronic pain, me being one of them. And it's caused, in my case, by an injury, but it can be manageable with SMR, which stands for self-myofascial release, which is essentially massage that you do at home with something like a foam roller. I'm just going to show you briefly my piriformis exercise. This one, again, you take away with you and try it out when we're done the seminar here and see how it goes. So I'm just going to fast forward to about 30 seconds here to what the actual episode or exercise looks like. A enjoyable exercise you're going to do in the whole course. So I'm sitting on a foam roller right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my leg over and I'm going to roll over to the side that I've crossed my leg on. So I'm going to brace myself. I'm going to bring my leg over, lock it in nice and tight. And I'm just going to slowly roll over to that side. Now, I can tell you the first time I did this, I was in my high school gym. I was a high school teacher, and I had to fight back the tears. I'm okay now. It's not nearly as painful, but it took me a long time to get over it. Find the spot if it's there and just sit there for about 30 seconds. We're going to do a little bit more self-myofascial release. True story. So that exercise is really, really tough, especially if you've got a really tight piriformis. Getting that open is really important because it helps with things like sciatica, which is such a big problem in the veteran community. Try that out. Let me know how it goes. That video is actually from my Nimble Warrior video course, which is available. I just don't promote it nearly as much. And that exercise is also in my book, The Nimble Warrior, as well. So step 4, rebuild. Here's where I talk about training, and stop AMRAPing yourself to death. Do these 3 workouts instead. So again, you can go grab a pen once we get there and write these down. The wisdom behind this is that if you overtrain, you start detraining yourself, especially as we get older. We're talking about 40 plus here, late 30s. Your body starts undergoing changes that you may not recognize, but it's totally normal. We're going to experience things like fatigue a lot faster. We're not going to recover as fast, but we need to take that in consideration and use our wisdom rather than our brawn. So as you overtrain, especially as you get older, your ability to recover gets lower and lower. And that's what the graph here on the right is trying to demonstrate, that you have a stress, which is training. You're in a breakdown phase. You need to rebuild all your tissue from that actual training session, but you don't quite get past that threshold where you're fully recovered. And then you smash yourself again. So you go a little bit deeper with that same stress. Okay, now you don't recover all the way to baseline and pass. So therefore you smash yourself again. And then you can see your fitness level actually starts to decrease. And this is literally what happened to me. I got fat. You saw me. I wasn't very attractive. I don't know why my wife still stayed with me, but she did, thankfully. And I wasn't in a good place. And I couldn't understand why, because I was doing what I thought was right, which was eat less and train more, but I just got fatter and more miserable. So you need consistency, less intensity, which is what I stole from Pavel Satsulin, who's a legendary kettlebell instructor, is that you need to grease the groove. It's how the Russians roll. They do a lot more volume. All right. So rather than do 100 reps, they do 1,000 reps, but they do it over, let's say, a week rather than 2 days. So you need to keep that in mind. You're constantly doing high intensity interval training is super stressful on your central nervous system. And when you're stressed, that's not good for fat loss. And we'll look at why, because cortisol levels are constantly high. The best workout is the one you can reliably perform on any day for 20 minutes, period. That's it. Okay. If you can do something consistently, where consistency is king, for 20 minutes, you'll be the ruler of the world and ruler of your own health. So the best 3 workouts, take these down. First one is sprints, right? You don't have to be a world-class athlete. You don't have to be a world-class runner. You go at whatever speed is fast for you. One caveat, make sure you're warmed up, especially because we're older. Don't just go out and think you're going to do a 100-yard sprint full tilt and not have a hammy pull on you. Okay. So these are proven to increase testosterone and increase your chance of not being the last guy when a bear chases you. No, but seriously, this is a really great way to increase testosterone. All you need to do is about 6-second intervals. Do 6 seconds, do an interval, and then recover until you feel recovered. There's no set time interval for recovery. It's when you feel recovered. You can do about 3 or 4 of those to start, and then add a few more as you start building up the endurance and start building up the cardiovascular endurance work. Okay. Workout number 2, farmer's walks. So it's simple. It doesn't require any technical skill, but time under tension for these is amazing. This stimulates a ton of testosterone without having to do a typical hypertrophy like training session. That's why farmers are always strong. They may not look ripped, but they've got farmer strength. It's because they're always under tension. They're always holding stuff. So all you need is really a contractor bucket full of water or sand. Walk around with that for about 10-15 seconds until you're straining. Okay. Or even just stay still. Okay. Until you feel that lactic acid burn, put it down. You can start with 3 sets of that and then gradually get up to 6, 7, 8, 9 sets of that. You're a king at that point. And then lastly, walking. This isn't testosterone producing, but it is great for overall cardiovascular health. You can get your heart rate to around 100 beats per minute. I wear a weight vest. I do mine every day, and I'm not sweating, but I'm putting in the effort. And don't forget, the majority of North Americans do not even do that. They don't do the bare minimum. If you do the bare minimum every day, you're going to be significantly further ahead in a year's time than if you were to not. So walking not only is great for your cardiovascular health, but it's great because you get vitamin D because you're outside. And we're, again, sorely lacking that, especially if you're Canadian. So what does the research say? Well, 20% of men will have low T by the time they're 60. And there's been a massive drop, you may have seen it in the news, in testosterone levels across the planet. And average levels are declining about 1% per year after the age of 40. So that's really relevant to what we're talking about here. Not something that you want to just let happen. You got to fight it. You got to figure out why it's happening. And if it's happening to you, you got to fight it and do what we're talking about here. Higher testosterone levels decrease obesity and reduce the chance of heart disease and dying of a heart attack. Also, it increases libido. So you can pleasure your wife, you can have fun with your girlfriend. You don't want to have that freaking drop in T when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and then wonder, oh, where to go? Oh, I feel like crap. Yeah, because it's part of who we are. We need to recognize it's a major sex hormone, and wanting to have sex is really important for your mental health as well. Lift heavy. We just went over that, but a 5x5 plan, if you're into weightlifting, really good for improving testosterone. And it definitely can reduce back pain. Case in point, me, and proven to help reduce stress and improve mood. Like, you go to the gym, do a heavy set of deadlifts. You're not thinking about what's bothering you during the week, right? You're thinking about the lift, and then you leave and you feel like $1,000,000. And lastly, regular fitness and healthy eating reduce chronic cortisol overproduction, which is a killer for most of us, because not only are we stressed at work, but if we do some extra workouts that are super intense and hard, that's an extra stress. Additionally, we're eating really crappy food and we're putting things like PUFAs in our body, which is increasing our cortisol response. It shuts down our ability to utilize testosterone. It's not like we have too little testosterone being produced. It's just that we can't utilize a lot of it because cortisol inhibits the ability for testosterone to bind and be used for what we need it for, which is improving muscle tone, ensuring mental clarity, and ensuring sex drive. All right, so step 5, restore. So this is our last phase. So sleep or die. This 30 minutes will potentially save your life. And it's really straightforward, guys. You need a 30-minute bedtime routine. On the right here, I have Dr. Kirk Parsley, retired Navy SEAL, literal doctor. And we sat down on the podcast and chatted about how important sleep is. And he pulls no punches. He's like, you're literally killing yourself if you're not getting enough sleep. And not only that, if you're not getting dense sleep, meaning the quality of your sleep isn't good. Now, most of us, if we're in the military, or especially for police or first responders, this is something that goes out the window with our jobs, especially if you're still, let's say, doing night shifts. Oh man, that is really hard on the body. You need to find a way to mitigate it through a really good bedtime routine and really good sleep hygiene. So the most important one is likely turning off your phone. Like, turning off your phone and not looking at it 30 minutes minimum before bedtime is probably one of the best things you can incorporate, like right now. Like, that is a no-brainer. Just have your phone literally like give you a reminder, like, hey, turn this off, don't use me again, and then put it away. You don't need to see who commented on your Facebook post, right? Like, it's really not that important. Put it away. Only because there's the light coming off that phone that tricks your brain into thinking that it's daylight. So you can't get into that circadian rhythm so that it allows you to get to sleep. So you may go to sleep and you might fall asleep, but you don't get the deep sleep that is required for recovery. Black out your bedroom using the same principle. You want things to be really dark. Our ancestors slept in pitch black with like starlight. There was not a lot of light. So we're used to falling asleep when it gets super dark, but we short circuit that by having all the lights around us. In order to bring that back to our natural state, black out your room as best as you can. Get rid of all the lights, get rid of TVs, get rid of anything that may even have like a little like computer light, get rid of them all. Even with your eyes closed, it's been shown that your retinas can sense that little bit of light, and it starts getting you out of that melatonin production, thinking that it's time to get up. So get as dark as the Mattawa Plains at night, man. If you guys have been on the Mattawa, you guys know I'm talking about. Get it super dark. If you can't, get a eye mask. Okay, I used them in Afghanistan. They were great. So, most of the time the lights were on, guys are going in and out on patrol. That was a great way to artificially get some really dark sleep in. And then cool your bedroom down to at least 17 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. It's probably in the 60s. And just tell your wife, like, throw on some extra thick jammies. Like, if you got an air conditioner, awesome. In the wintertime, it's easy because you can just crack a window. So that will stimulate your body to start to cool. The cooling effect actually lets you fall asleep quicker. Your body goes through hot and cold cycles. You may have noticed when you're sleeping, you need to go in a cold cycle in order to fall asleep. So if you can stimulate that, because think about it, our ancestors slept outside. It got cold at night, so you naturally would fall asleep when it got a little bit cooler. So if it's too hot in your room, you're never going to fall asleep. You're not going to have good sleep. Okay, hope you guys got that all down. One last reiteration. 32% of Canadians not getting enough sleep. That's not good. And all-cause mortality goes up as soon as you start getting less than 7 hours sleep a night. And that's just science, right? One of the days that has the most amount of car accidents is the day after we change our clocks after daylight savings, or which one is it? Well, it's the one where we lose an hour's sleep. So there's evidence there that you can dramatically affect somebody's like alertness and their ability to survive just by changing 1 hour of sleep. So if you do that habitually, it creates a whole wealth of issues. Bottom line, if you don't sleep well, you get slower, dumber, fatter, and die sooner. Oh. All right, we got the 5 steps done. Andy Bernard, love them. To summarize, do you know how much you should eat a day? Are you eliminating the bad food from your diet? Do you know what exercises are good for your specific goals? Have you sorted out any lingering chronic pain issues? And are you getting enough sleep? All right. Questions from those on the Zoom call? Drop them in the chat, guys. Thanks, Mike. 17 degrees is 62.6 Fahrenheit. Nice. Raul. Hey, good job. You're jumping in the reserves right on. Mike, you're blowing up the chats here. This is great. This is great. Guys, if you don't have any questions, I'll move on. However, there will be another period at the end, which is we're about to wrap up in about the next 5-10 minutes. So if you have another question, whoops, hear that. We'll have plenty of time to answer them. So here's the thing, guys. 88% of us are metabolically broken. We went over this on the podcast with Dr. Philip Avadia, who's a cardiac surgeon in the United States. He made this point abundantly clear. He works on hearts every day, and his conclusion is that we need to fix ourselves. It's a personal responsibility, and he's out to help do it. Most of us, which is 84% of us, don't do the bare minimum amount of exercise per week, which is 20 minutes. It's literally 20 minutes of light activity. So going for a walk, that's the bare minimum that the human body needs to do to stay normal, healthy. We don't do it. And 95% of dieters put back more weight after 2 years. So that's an interesting fact. And likely you've done it, I've done it, and we've all been in this boat and we've never got the results that we wanted. And now we're trying to figure out, well, why is that the case? And that's why you're here. So where's all this going? Well, I wanted to show that my T-Max protocol is designed to destroy the old, clearly broken model around fitness and health and get you fit and healthy for life. So some more context, guys. The main reason you don't lose weight is you're constantly stuffing your face with garbage food. So even if you're stuffing your face constantly with good food, you would still put on weight. And so, well, why is that the case? You never give your body a chance to burn fat. Okay, you need time off. Your body needs a break to say, whoa, let me put all these nutrients where they need to go. Give me a bit of time, bro. Then I'll sort it out. Not what you see on the news and not what you've been told since you were a kid. Like, oh, if you're hungry, you need a snack. The entire food and beverage industry is centered around snacks. Okay, my kid doesn't go 10 minutes at daycare without them offering like some cheese or like a cracker. They don't need it. They're fine. We're fine. We can go long times without eating. So my mantra for you is no feast without famine. Let me give you some more context. We're going to look at intermittent fasting. Now, this is really popular these days, but it's been with us since the time we could write and time we're human beings. It is encoded in our DNA. We can go very long periods of time without eating and be totally fine, not lose all our muscle mass and have our eyes fall out of our sockets. We are okay going long distances so long as we have water with no food, because we are hunters. So therefore, if we can hunt for long distances and we can stay acute, keep our wits about us and keep an acute sense of where we are and what we need to do, then obviously we're able to do this. So intermittent fasting is really just a period of eating and not eating. We do it literally every day when you go to sleep. That's why it's called a breakfast. You have broken your fast after not eating because, well, you were literally asleep. You couldn't stuff food in your face, all right? So all the major religions do it. Christians kind of slack on it a little bit, not gonna lie. But Ramadan, Yom Kippur, these are all better known fasting periods. There's all kinds of different models, and there's no one that's like the king. 16-8, where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat in a window of 8, and there's 20 and 4. I think you guys get the picture. Eat, stop, eat, alternate day fasting. Like there's a ton of different iterations you can do for this, but essentially what you're doing is you're just giving your body a bit of time to digest and put the nutrients where they need to go. So the research isn't quite conclusive yet, but it's looking really promising. And this is how fasting works in a real nutshell. The green here on the graph is where you're not eating, and so you're fat burning. And the red is where insulin is higher because you've consumed food, and insulin is the hormone that responds to glucose going up in your bloodstream, and some amino acids, so not just glucose. So when you eat, essentially, if you're eating anything other than just plain old fat, you will have a bump in insulin, and that's a good thing. You need to store all that food. But if you constantly leave it elevated, it's going to constantly be storing energy, glucose. So therefore you're going to maybe over a long period of time start packing on body fat, because an excess of glucose goes to glycogen, and then if that's not used, eventually that'll get stored as body fat. So this compresses the time insulin goes to work for 8 hours. Okay, this is a 16-8 fast. According to the research, the 16 hours is like the sweet spot for increased metabolism and human growth hormone production. You can increase, in one study, it said testosterone by about 180% off a baseline, and then shown to increase growth hormone by about 2000% off a baseline, which I'd like to see some more data on that, but that one's just kind of like the wow factor. But growth hormone is important for maintaining basically muscle mass and ensuring that you repair everything. So everything that gets broken down, bone, any tissue, growth hormone is secreted at night when you're asleep, so that you can repair yourself. And if you don't repair yourself, well, you fall apart. Okay. So this is where we put two and two together and say, oh, so at the beginning, Dave, you're talking about how you can still have pizza, steaks, and beers and lose weight. Well, this is how. You need to figure out, well, if I still want to have this, where do I fit this in? And not just do it whenever you feel, you plan it out. And this is where no feast before famine comes. So one way, and you can write this down too, if you really want to have your pizza and beer night, you say, well, maybe I'm going to have a fast and not eat the day before, and then boom, I'm going to break it with some pizza and beer and have a good time. Yeah, man, that sounds great. Or after, be like, hey, I just had pizza and beer night. That's my feast. Now I need to have a little famine. And if everyone wanted to do that, we'd be a lot better off than we are. So the calories in, calories out model doesn't work for a few reasons. It's because you're not a machine. This calories in, calories out model is based on thermodynamics. Now, the laws of thermodynamics still apply, but we're not a car. When you put the energy into us in forms of food, we're much more complex than any internal combustion engine. So therefore, the model doesn't stand up. Insulin is our storage hormone. Okay, it takes things like we just discussed and stores it away in the cells. And the excess of glucose will get shuttled away. The inability to do that is diabetes. So fasting drives down insulin. So it makes you more sensitive to things like glucose, which is a good thing. Okay. You constantly eating, if you're constantly eating even small quantities of food, this drives up insulin all the time. So you become metabolically broken, because it's kind of like you're always using this process and it gets tired. So it's called insulin resistance. You end up getting more and more and more resistant, and then need more and more and more insulin. And then boom, That's how diabetes sits in. We don't want that. Eating less pushes down your metabolism. So here's where the calories in, calories out model doesn't work very well. If you've ever done calorie restriction, it sucks, right? You're not eating a lot. You may be eating like 1,600 calories as a grown man, maybe even less. You feel crazy hungry, but here's the wild thing. Your body recognizes you're in a low calorie environment. What does it do? It says, all right, let's turn everything down. So it down regulates things like testosterone production. It down regulates all of your growth hormone. It down regulates everything to the point where it says, well, you're going to have to keep on dropping calories if you want to lose body fat, bro. And then where do you go? Do you go to zero? Well, okay, well then maybe we're in fasting. So why don't we just fast instead? Okay, if you can fast, you're going to feel a hell of a lot better. You're going to be able to eat what you want, and you're going to be able to get the desired results that you want and not lose any muscle mass and lose body fat. So working out more and eating less puts too much stress into the system, and it raises cortisol levels, which results in you getting fatter, plain and simple. So too much stress in the system plus increased insulin, that's the recipe for getting fat. If you control insulin and keep cortisol levels down, you will lose weight. I agree, Mr. Burgundy. Very, very interesting. So on the personal side, I've done numerous fasts. I experiment myself regularly. I'm not a slave to hunger. I get anxious around 0.9. That's because that's when I used to always traditionally eat. I'm okay with it now. I don't always fast. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. I like to be as flexible as possible. The longest one I've done is 72 hours, and I lost 10 pounds. Felt okay at the end. Definitely enjoyed my steak at the end of that 72 hours. I normally do a 24-hour fast, usually once a week, depending. And I've definitely not seen any muscle or strength loss. If anything, my strength has gone up, and I sleep better, and I get mistaken for a 27-year-old. Well, that's not totally true, but they say I look younger. 27, sure. So great, Dave. If I ever have 2 hours to train and start up my meals every day, I'll give you a shout. Trust me, man. There's a better way. So you have two paths, right? Keep on doing what you're doing, or use the foolproof method, right? And challenge your beliefs. That's basically what we're talking about here. Incorporate new habits and methodologies like the ones I just talked about here. So the foolproof path was followed by a few guys in the past that I've worked with. We have Mark here that came to me a little bit broken physically. And we started working on movement patterns, getting the crap out of his diet, getting the good stuff back in, and just doing some really, really basic training and mindset work. And guess what? He lost 25 pounds, but he lost more in this because we kept on working together. He lost over 40, and it was a great experience for both of us. Leo's the man, veteran as well. And this is him at 18 pounds. He lost a total of 32 pounds, and it just changed his life completely because he was able to do the things around the house he wasn't able to do before. Was able to control his COPD, which is a respiratory illness, or a chronic inflammatory respiratory illness, and was finally able to go skate with his son, which was one of his dreams actually, but his weight and his COPD were preventing him from doing that. So that was a huge win for Leo. And then just some really cool feedback from those that have done the program over the last few years. We have, actually, Dave, I think you're here. You're feeling good, man, which is awesome. And strength is good, and losing body fat, which is always a plus. I have Carlos here, police officer, and he's improved his strength, but more importantly, he improved his self-confidence. And we have a few more here, guys. Just getting out of back pain was a big one. Doing a lot of the nimbleness drills has been really kind of a game changer for a lot of guys that have gone through the program. Hugo here fixed his back pain, but in the process hurt his neck. So he's working on that now. And, being able to go and do things that you normally wouldn't have thought of doing, like a half marathon, and weighing, being lighter than you were in your 20s is something that allows for some guys to go ahead and do those awesome things and feel much better than they did before they got started on the program here. So the BE.A.S.T program, like I mentioned earlier, is comprised of a bunch of different elements. So it's got a home-based element, which is all online. We've got accountability check-ins. We work daily to make sure that you're tracking and moving in the right direction. You get a home workout plan, you get a nimbleness guide, you get a meal planner, a recipe pack, custom meal plans to exactly the way you like to eat based on your macronutrient profile. You get a guide on how to perform better in bed, guys, getting mind out of the gutters, about sleeping better. You get bi-weekly one-on-one calls with me, injury prevention guide, no more dad wad pack, discounts on training gear, discounts on supplements, you name it, right? I throw the whole kitchen sink at you. And on top of that, you're going to lose 10 to 20 pounds. Like, that is guaranteed. And I back it up with the can't beat the beast guarantee, because I know programs are often hard to kind of like understand if you're not actually in. It's like buying a car, right? You can want a car and you're like looking at it, you're like, I want this car, I think it's gonna be freaking awesome. Until you drive it, you don't know. So that's why I do 30 days, no questions asked, money back guarantee. If you're not satisfied at the 30-day mark, it wasn't a good fit, that's fine. You can carry on and try something new with somebody else. That's totally fine. Because I know you're gonna really enjoy that 30 days. And then at 90 days, if you get to 90 days and you're like, man, I didn't hit my goal yet, I didn't hit that 20 pounds, that's cool. I keep on working with you until you hit that 90 days at no extra cost. That's how I roll. That's the can't beat the beast guarantee. So the program isn't just for anybody though. So if you try to get lean and lose body fat, have never gotten to your ideal weight, this is for you. If you find it hard to stick to a diet routine long-term and then lack the accountability, this is the right place. And then if you want life-changing results within the next 90 days, it's the most effective evidence-based fat loss plan on the market. So I want you right here. And we can set up a free coaching evaluation. And I'll give you what I see and whether you would be a good fit for the BE.A.S.T program. And then you can make that decision. But like always, there's a catch. And the catch is I only have 3 more spots I can coach this month. I like making sure that I can deliver the highest quality service possible. So therefore, I can't take on everybody. So I like to keep it a tight-knit group. So let me just show you quickly where you have to go. So it's go.davemorrow.net. BE.A.S.T application. I'm going to pull that up here on the screen just so we can pull this up. And I can just show you what I mean by the BE.A.S.T application. So there's no confusion here. So I'm just going to switch my screen. So if you guys want to make a book an appointment, it's really simple. I've lost my screen here. Oh, that's great. Beautiful. Let's just open this up. Well, guys, this is, I guess, the conclusion as I pull this up. So I'll open the floor up to anybody that has a question. Really appreciate you guys coming here and listening to what I had to say. And hopefully you learned a bunch. I'd love to know biggest takeaway. And if you guys have one, you can just take yourselves off mute and let me know.
Dave, what's that link again, please?
Absolutely. I'm just pulling it up right here. I'll put it right into the chat for you guys. So it's
go.davemorrow something or other.
Yep, go.davemorrow.net, and it's BE.A.S.T. I'll put it here in the chat. BE.A.S.T application. There we go. So when you go there, there's just going to be a big button, and it's going to then just take you to a pop-up where you just need to put in your email address. Once you put in your email address, you'll have a screen that pops up that says, cool, pick your time that you want to set up a time to chat. And then we can go from there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And let me see if I can do this share screen now. Everything's back up and running. So there we go. So this is the screen here, guys. And if you want to set up a time to chat, you just need to click on yes here, and then just drop your first name and then begin your application. And then we set up a time for an hour-long coaching call. So I'm going to, learn what your main goal is and what you're struggling with, and then figure out, okay, well, where do I fit in the picture and what can I do to help you moving forward, and give you some actual tangible things that you can take away and try and implement, all 100% free. Okay. So that's it. You can see it right here. That's what it looks like, discovery call, and you can pick your time and date so long as there's an availability on the calendar. And if you're not already a member of the Hard to Kill podcast and subscriber, you can subscribe there too. And if you're not a member, which I'd find hard to believe if you're not a member of the Facebook group, considering I'm running this in the Facebook group, you can also sign up there. So guys, questions, comments, floor is open. Does anybody want me to go over any of the concepts that we just went over in the presentation? I'm all ears. If not, I'm going to volunteer some people to write my. All right. Well, guys, if you don't have any more comments, if you don't have any questions, let me just check in with Facebook here. Stop the share. Got a bunch of people tuning in here on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in here as well. There will be a replay, guys. So those of you that are registered here on Zoom, you'll be getting the link for the replay, and you can go over the entire presentation on your own time if you missed anything. And again, if you have any questions, guys, please, you know where to reach me. Make sure to tag me in the Facebook group. That is the easiest way to do it. Dave, I have a question regarding and then shoot that off. I'm in the group every day and answering questions and making sure that we can become the fittest, hardest to kill community on the planet. Mike, is this a serious question? Hot shower before bed, good for the cool down? Yeah, actually, yeah, it is, because that process of your body actually having to start thermoregulating itself, that's exactly what you want. You get a cooling sensation. Actually, one of the cool things about like flipping your pillow, like, you try to find that like cool. The reason why you move around in bed is to try and find a cool spot, believe it or not. That's why if your mattress absorbs heat and keeps you too hot, and if you like run hot, which I do, like sometimes I wake up and I'm just drenched in sweat, it's because you woke up in the hot cycle. You woke up in a weird phase in your sleep where your body temperature is actually starting to rise. That happens a lot, especially if you take a nap. You might have noticed, like in that 15-20 minute range. So it's just your hormones, they're fluctuating. And when you get hot, you try to find a place that's cooler so you can cool down. That's a natural thing to happen. All right, good question, Mike. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks so much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned on Friday, another live in the Facebook group. Have a good one, guys. Be well. Peace.